We're here at Andrew Jackson's Hermitage, visiting the propagation greenhouse in the fall, and here with us is Kimberly Cooper, their historic gardens manager. Can you tell us, you know, are all these things here that you plant in the ground, or tell us a little bit about these?
So a lot of the plants that we'll produce in here are either from seed or they're from cuttings. This time of year we have a lot more cutting production going on.
Right.
This one is blue porterweed, and it's actually a Florida native. But its flowers are actually really good for pollinators. Our bees and butterflies have been going crazy for it.
Okay, so you're propagating these by cuttings, and then they'll go out in the spring, I guess?
Yeah, so they'll be planted about in May.
Okay.
Make sure we're clear of frost, because they will die from frost.
Yeah, and I assume many of the things in here are frost tender at this time of year.
Yeah, at this time of year, a lot of them are frost tender, and but our cooler temperatures are the perfect time to collect the cuttings from them.
Okay. And so when you propagate these by cuttings, how do you do that?
Well, I use my trusty pruners.
Nice.
So I actually have these are cuttings of pineapple sage that we took because it is a winter tender plant. Yeah. And they have gotten to the point that they are well rooted and they actually need to get trimmed.
Oh,
but
okay.
the fun part is this will actually be your cutting. So I can actually show you how they all start in these pots. As I start trimming it, you gotta take off some of its leaves. And you only really want to leave this top part. And you want to get where I just cut those leaves, you want to get those underneath soil if you can, because that, or you need to at least get one set under the soil if you can. Because that's going to be where your roots are going to come from.
So are these difficult, these particular plants, are these difficult to do with cuttings? I mean, are they hard, or they go pretty easily?
These are very easy, and I believe with these I got 100% rooting, which is great.
No, that's fantastic.
I, of course, do have other things like roses. They are a lot harder to root.
Tell me a little bit about some of these other things that you're starting from cuttings this time of year.
Okay, well, we have these musk roses from our garden, and these are a little bit harder to root than some. So I actually use rooting hormone for these to help kind of give them a boost and better chance to root.
Yeah.
We also here have scented geraniums that come from pots that we keep in front of the mansion. So we have citronella scented and rose scented.
Yeah, where's the rose scented? Is that?
Let's see. This should be the rose scented. Or yeah, this is the rose scented. This is the citronella scented here.
Lovely.
The leaf's kind of softer and a little bit bigger on the citronella.
Yeah. And I see these. I love these.
Yes, we have our red salvia or Texas sage here. It can be found throughout the garden. Sometimes it comes back from seed, but to be a little bit more predictable, we take cuttings in the fall.
And do you need rooting hormone for these sages?
These actually root so easily that I don't bother with rooting hormone.
That's awesome. Well, they're beautiful flowers. You can still see those pretty red blooms. Love it. I see some things here that probably were started by seed. Can you tell us when you started these from seed and what they are exactly?
All right, well, these are violas. They're actually King Henry variety violas, old enough to have in our garden.
Oh, that's lovely.
And so this is just a couple of the ones that are going to be ending up out in the garden. A lot of them are already planted, but these are just holding for now because we got to replant them later. But we started these from seed in August.
Okay.
About beginning of August. We had to put them in the refrigerator to chill.
Oh, see, now I did not know that about these. They're violas, King Henry, right?
Yeah, King Henry violas.
Yeah.
You have any viola, you have to chill it in order for it to sprout.
Wow.
And then you have to keep it in darkness. Usually, maybe cover it with like a newspaper or so, just so sunlight's not hitting it. But check it every now and then. In about a week, they'll sprout, and then you can let them see sunlight.
Okay. So you take them out of the freezer at that point once they've sprouted, or do you keep them chilled a little?
So you have to chill them for about 1 to 2 weeks.
Okay.
And then you can take them out and keep them in darkness.
Okay.
They can start getting a little bit of warmth, and then once they sprout, you can start introducing them to sunlight, but not too harsh because our summer sunlight in August, is a little too harsh for them. But our greenhouse is a shade fabric, and that knocks off just enough sunlight that they can flourish in here.
That's far more complicated than I imagined it was to produce violas and pansies for the fall, so thank you for sharing that. Now, I know you guys grow a whole lot of plants from seed. and there's just a few in the greenhouse right now. So when will you start growing out things that, for example, have to go out into the garden in the warm weather months? When will you do that, and what all sort of things are you guys planning to grow this year?
So a lot of our plants, usually we have to start them from seed in the greenhouse about end of January into February, just depending on how long they need to actually get to size that we can actually put them in the garden.
Okay.
So we'll be starting things like dianthus, cosmos, sometimes foxgloves, just so we can get them in there to replenish for the next year.
So I know you at the Hermitage that you guys have plant sales here. And I think they're a couple of times a year. Can you tell us when those are? And I'm assuming the greenhouse plays a big role in that.
Yes, so everything that goes into our plant sales comes to our greenhouse at some point, whether it's been dug from the garden or cuttings.
Yeah.
Or if we're just starting it from seed. And we will have them in spring for about April into May.
Okay.
And then also the month of October is when our fall sale takes place.
Awesome. Thank you. I definitely will be buying some things.
Oh, please do.
Oh, I definitely will be. Thank you so much.
For inspiring garden tours, growing tips, and garden projects, visit our website at volunteergardener.org or on YouTube at the Volunteer Gardener channel, and like us on Facebook.